we're going to push and push and push. You will always back up.
In this world, accessible of kindness and ethical blindness. So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Bistro fraternity guy, big up a ass with bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to the side to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, was so impressed. Lots of chicks and a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planets. Oh, I just can't understand it. But defined by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first. You're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with a penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. Screws in a pool of blood and cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like a tree and gag. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bone's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The public militant. Put a body by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics. Don't let the buggies will quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Everybody, welcome to the Plex. We do the show live every Sunday on Twitch at 7 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. You can support this project at patreon.com/Echoplex or at eplex.store. Sign up at the $5 or higher level, and you'll get the entire show, including Red Light, sent straight to your inbox, audio and video. I would say Monday morning, but that's a big old lie. It'd be Monday afternoon. Anyway, I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Blue Sky at Plex-Dave, and this is what the people want.
I don't hate the cops. There's a person inside when the truncheon stops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Or when the raiders come, who will protect the shops? Don't hate the cops. They're a sensitive bunch if you don't stop throwing your rocks. Snap, crackle, pop is the sound of a taser. Your body drops. Don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops. Don't your local police. Cause they don't do nothing wrong like your local police. Got rid of the corruption and the racism is gone. They've been keeping the peace, keeping homeless folks out of the parks and malls. Got a cure for your social disease. Follow the law, don't hate the cops. 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 Put your hands above your head and show you're not afraid. I'm the fearless judge that your skin color's gonna get. And if you die before the sun comes up, the paperwork will take forever. Well, it might have worked out a little bit better if you didn't hate the cops. Cause they don't do nothing wrong, don't hate the cops. You can't blame them for just doing their job, don't hate the cops. Well, you gotta wonder, how much would it cost for you to be shot at and stabbed at by maniacs and drunks? Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops.
So it was like a slowish news week, but I do have some stuff. The first thing I have here is fucking terrifying. This is the President of the United States and First Lady taking phone calls on C-SPAN for people that called Santa from the fucking NORAD tracker. So this ought to be great.
And Santa is currently for Copenhagen, Denmark.
Whoa, that's pretty good.
Merry Christmas. You too.
Hi,
Thank you.
how are you?
Thank you. Merry Christmas, Mom.
This is Krill.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Krill.
I'm from Pennsylvania.
Right, I know. Oh, Pennsylvania's great. We won Pennsylvania. Actually, 3 times, but
Yeah.
we won Pennsylvania.
That's what the kids fucking, that's what the kids care about. What the kids fucking totally care about is whether or not you won Pennsylvania.
So Santa right now is in Copenhagen.
That's great. The kids care how many times. First of all, I think didn't he lose Pennsylvania in fucking 2020. Oh man, there's more of this. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Here's Trump interacting with a fucking 8-year-old. All things considered, this probably not so great. Check this out.
How are you?
I'm fine. You sound so beautiful and cute. How old are you?
I'm 8.
Wow, so smart. You sound so smart. Do you have a
Beautiful. You sound cute. Like, come on, man. Like, that's a weird thing to say that's a weird thing to say to anybody on the phone, really. Oh, you sound cute. All right. Fucking, what does that even mean? Here we go. Here's the last one that I have. There was this is quite long. But here's Trump talking about, how he wants to make sure Santa's being good or something. I don't know. Maybe fucking deport Santa back to the North Pole. If he's not being good, who knows?
Oh, wow.
Go ahead.
I love video
He's
games.
got a tackle on him.
Yes.
Right.
I hope he will be
Yeah.
right. I
Good.
hope the dreams come true.
That has a tracker on him.
Okay.
Well, we track Santa all over the world. We want to make sure that Santa is being good. Santa's a very good person. We want to make sure that he's not infiltrated, that we're not infiltrating into our country a bad Santa.
What the fuck, dude?
Santa is good. Santa loves you. Santa loves Oklahoma like I do. You know, Oklahoma was very good to me in the election, so I love Oklahoma. Don't ever leave Oklahoma, okay?
We want to make sure Santa isn't infiltrating a bad person into our country. And kid, don't ever leave Oklahoma. Be a townie. Be a townie. Don't ever move, actually. So that was Trump and the First Lady taking questions from children as the children were watching the Santa NORAD tracker. Here's Donald Trump talking about some boats he wants to build. I guess fucking he found out that China built a boat or something, and so now he wants to build some boats. And here we go. Here's boats, everybody, boats, because America doesn't have any boats.
What's your timetable for these first two ships, and do you see them as a counter to China?
We're going to start almost immediately, and we'll probably talk in about 2.5 years.
And in terms of the mission, do you see it as a counter to China?
It's a counter to everybody. It's not China. We get along great with China. I have a great relationship with President Xi. And not China, it's just everybody. You don't know who comes along, but we just wanted peace through strength. Hopefully we never have to use them, but there will never be anything built like these.
It's not a counter to anybody. It's a counter to everybody. Everybody got boats, so we got to have boats. It's a counter to everybody. Did you know that I'm good friends with the leader of China? Here we go. I guess he's going to help design them because he's got an eye for design. Probably a lot of gold. Gold's not great to build your boat with, by the way. Gold's a little heavy.
The U.S. Navy will lead the design of these ships along with me because I'm a very aesthetic person, alongside our partners in American industry. And we're going to have Pete Hegseth and Marco and a lot of very talented people involved. But a lot of it's already been done. We've been doing this for months.
Yeah, that's what you need when you build a warship. You want to make sure it looks good, right? It's aesthetic. That it has lots of like I said, probably a lot of gold. So we're gonna do like 25 or 30 of them, I guess. I don't know how many fucking boats you need, but I don't know. However, we're doing one more than fucking China did. Whatever.
They'll help maintain American military supremacy, revive the American shipbuilding industry, and inspire fear in America's enemies all over the world. We want respect. We're going to have it. We already have it. We're more respected now than we ever were. A year and a half ago, they laughed at us. Now they respect us again at levels that they've never respected us. We envision that these two ships, we're talking about 10, but we're going to start with 2, and we're going to quickly morph into 10. And ultimately,
we're going to morph them. We're going to take 2 ships and morph them into 10.
I think it's going to be anywhere from 20 to 25 of these. But we're starting with the first 2 immediately, and we're going to then be very quickly involved with, I think we're going to do another 8, and then we're going to ultimately and pretty quickly have a total of about 20 to 25. We'll make that determination.
I don't know if people know that he wants like he had this idea. He wants like them to look like an old battleship from like World War II. It's amazing. It's amazing. People on fucking Twitter were like acting like, oh, look, they don't build ships like this anymore. I'm like, well, no, because it's been 100 fucking years since they built that ship. Really crazy stuff. Up next, we got, we're going to revive the shipping industry, but we're going to have robots build the fucking ships. Robots are going to help us, everybody.
On shipbuilding, how is the administration plan to ensure that there's sufficient workforce availability as you're producing these ships?
Could you speak up?
How does the administration plan to ensure there is sufficient workforce availability as you're producing these ships?
We're going to have it. We're going to have tremendous workforce availability. We're also going to have robots helping us. We're going to have a lot of robots helping us because we need it. And because we're going to town, we're building a lot between the AI and the auto plants. So we're going to need robots. We're going to have robots, but that's going to...
We're going to be building a lot between the AI and the fucking auto plants, and we're going to need robots, and we're going to have robots. We're going to have robots. It's going to be a lot of robots. Friends, did you also know that we're going to build some planes? And I guess he doesn't like that some of the companies that might build the planes are doing stock buybacks or something. So he wants them to, instead of doing stock buybacks, to fucking build planes. This is crazy.
We're also going to be talking about buybacks. They spend so much money on buybacks. They want to buy back their stock. I don't want them to buy back their stock. I want them to put the money in plant and equipment so they can build these planes fast, rapidly, like immediately. I mean, I have sold more planes than any president by far, times probably 20. So every time I go someplace, I sell 100 planes. That includes commercial planes, Boeings, etc., but it also includes fighter jets. And I'm always having to say 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, helicopters, Apache helicopters, many years. India bought them. They want to get them. They don't want to wait a long time. So we don't want to have executives making $50 million a year, issuing big dividends to everybody, and also doing buybacks. And then they say, well, we don't have the money to build a plant. They got to build plants. Plants to make F-35s, plants to make helicopters, plans to make the F-47 new jet.
Somebody in chat's like, stock buybacks are kind of shitty, actually. It's not really great. It's just a way to artificially inflate the price of the stock. But like, I don't know if like the reason that they should do it is so that they can build more fighter jets so that he can sell them to people. I don't know, man. Anyway, during the same press conference, there's just a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are just mad that everybody keeps talking about Jeff Epstein. I don't know. I don't know why.
Bankers and lawyers and others, and they'll end up, because of guys like Massey, who's a real lowlife, whose polls are down to about 9%, by the way, in the great state of Kentucky. If you look at Kentucky, Kentucky is such a great place, but I don't know. They've got a couple of people in there that are very strange in terms of leadership. But Massey's a loser, and he likes it, and that he works with the Democrats. He's just being used by the Democrats, because what this whole thing is with Epstein is a way of trying to deflect from the tremendous success that the Republican Party has. Like, for instance, today we're building the biggest ships in the world, most powerful ships in the world, and they're asking me questions about Jeffrey Epstein. I thought that was finished. I believe they gave over 100,000 pages of documents, and there is tremendous backlash. It's an interesting question, because a lot of people are very angry that pictures are being released of other people that really had nothing to do with Epstein, but they're in a picture with him because he was at a party, and you ruin a reputation of somebody. So a lot of people are very angry that this continues. A lot of Republicans are angry because of the fact that it's just used to deflect against a tremendous success. Look, we have 18.
So there's a big difference here. Obviously, if you're like at a party at, like, I don't know, the Met Gala or something, and Jeff Epstein happened to be there, and if you're at a party at someone else's house and Jeff Epstein happened to be there, that's a little bit different than being pictured on his fucking plane or at his island or whatever. Even the plane, I think, before his first conviction, you could be like, well, whatever, you know, this person didn't know or whatever, and they just caught a ride. But like, there's a lot of people that are in those photos that are like, I didn't know at the time, and they're fine. Nobody's jumping all over those people. There's like one photo of the person with them at like a party. I mean, there's only one photo of Elon Musk with Ghislaine Maxwell. The only reason the people are jumping all over him for it is because fucking it's just fun to fucking make fun of apartheid Clyde. But I don't think a lot of people think that Elon Musk, like during the time that most of this stuff was at its peak, Elon Musk wasn't really famous enough to be around Jeff Epstein. So, but it's just fun to show him that picture because he gets really pissed off. Up next, we got more on like people being mad about, I guess they're mad that these files have been released, I guess. I don't know who it is, but there's people, they're mad, the Republicans.
Thank you, Mr. President. Were you surprised by the number of photos of Bill Clinton in the Epstein files? And can you commit to their full...
What?
And were you surprised by the number of photos of Bill Clinton in the Epstein files? And can you commit to their full release by the end of the year? Some of the victims were protesting that too many of them were redacted.
I know there are a lot of people that are angry about all of the pictures of other people, you know, but I think it's terrible. Look, I like Bill Clinton. I've always gotten along with Bill Clinton. I've been nice to him. He's been nice to me. We've always gotten along. Respect him. I hate to see photos come out of him, but this is what the Democrats, mostly Democrats, and a couple of bad Republicans are asking for. So they're giving their photos of me too. Everybody was friendly with this guy, either friendly or not friendly, but he was around. He was all over Palm Beach and other places. The head of Harvard was his best friend, Larry Summers. And Bill Clinton was a friend of his, but everybody was. I actually threw him out of Mar-a-Lago. And this
is bull. He threw him out of Mar-a-Lago because Donald Trump had like a fucking 16 or 17-year-old masseur there that Jeffrey Epstein hired away from him. Like, this is not like, he was like, oh, he was perving on the people there. It's like, yeah, but you had like a teenage girl giving people massages there, dude. You're just mad that he stole her.
as a person that was in Mar-a-Lago, I threw him out. This is Mar-a-Lago. It's the hottest place I think it's the hottest place in the world, but it's the hottest place in Florida. And everybody would come here. He'd come here. We actually threw him out. But no,
For what, Donald?
being shown. I don't like the pictures of other people being shown. I think it's a terrible thing. I think Bill Clinton's a big boy. He can handle it. But you probably have pictures being exposed of other people that innocently met Jeffrey Epstein many years ago, and they're, highly respected bankers and lawyers and others.
A highly respected banker or a lawyer could also take care of themselves. And there's just a lot of people that, like, when they're asked about it, they're like, yeah, I don't even remember taking that picture. It was at such and such a fucking party. Like, I don't think everybody that was in a picture with the motherfucker was up to some shit. It's like, who keeps showing up in pictures? Who, it's that easy. Like, who's in a lot of pictures? Who's in a lot of this stuff? Because I could totally see, like, the guy was a financier and he, like, knew a bunch of fucking rich and powerful people. Yeah, you take a picture with him, sure, I guess. Like, no fucking problem. Like, what date was the picture taken? What was the context? Like, these things are all really important. Like, for example, not enough people talk about this. He's photographed with Steven Pinker and Lawrence Krauss in like 2013 or something. You're getting pretty far down the fucking road there. Pretty far down the road to be photoed with fucking Jeff Epstein by the time we're at 2013, 2014. But not a lot of people talk about that. But if you do talk about that on Twitter, Steven Pinker is going to block you. So, just free speech guy. So, here's, I guess Donald Trump had a conversation with Emmanuel Macron about drug prices. That I swear to you, he was just like, hey, you should just raise your drug prices.
I called up the heads of the countries. As an example, France, I spoke to a very good man, President Macron of France. And I said, Emmanuel, you have to raise your drug prices. He said, no, we will not do that. I said, you have to.
Why?
I don't want to do that. Look, you're asking me for go to $10 to $20. You're going to come way down to 20. We don't want to do that. Now, in all fairness, no other president even tried. But
wait, what? But this doesn't make any sense. You're not negotiating with other countries. You're like, oh, well, we're trying to make people here think that the drugs aren't that expensive, that your prescriptions are a normal price. So what I need you to do is raise the price that you charge for the drugs in your country. This isn't even a negotiation. You have no leverage to extort these people. You're just like, hey man, people here heard that, like, when you go to France, that even if you need one of these name brand prescriptions, that you're paying like $17.50 a month for it. You're like, we can't have that. He's like, you got to raise the price, man. And otherwise people in my country are going to think that I should lower the price, which I mean, I'm lowering the price, but people in my country are going to think, like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, I don't understand. Could you imagine, like, if this wasn't like a government, like, let's say that I ran a grocery store and like there was a grocery store somewhere undercutting me, like giving better prices than me. And I just called him up and I was like, hey, you got to raise the price on chicken because you have a better price than me. No. What on earth? Don't worry though. The United States has actually brought down the prices of drugs by let's say mathematically impossible percentages. I don't know if anybody here is a math whiz, but
instead of talking about the battleships, or instead of talking about most favored nations drugs, we're bringing down drug prices like at a level that has never even been thought of, by thousands. Think of it, by 1,000%, by 1,200, 1,300, 1,400% in some cases.
So, okay, so if you bring a drug price down 1,000%, and it's, let's say the drug is $100, you bring the price down 1,000%. Now you're giving me what, $900? Instead of me giving you 100, now you're giving me 900, right? Because you end up at negative $900 is the cost of the drug. Like, I mean, sign me up for that. I'll have every illness known to man. Be like, prescribe me everything. Be like, Dave, how come now you live all the way at the top of the hill and you have a driver? I'm like, oh, well, Just keep fucking going into the doctor and saying I need a prescription. What the fuck, dude? Absolutely fucking insanity. Absolute fucking insanity. This one's good too. This is about Greenland, and it's really interesting. The United States just celebrated its 249th year. We're going on 250 years here on July 4th. So what he's about to say here isn't possible, actually.
Comes through Mexico.
Thank you, sir. You've named Governor Landry to be new special envoy to Greenland.
Yeah.
How do you? What do you see that role entailing? And is it still your intention that Greenland
Well, he called
become
me,
part
and
of the
you know,
U.S.?
he viewed Louisiana, the Louisiana Purchase. He said, "I'm governor of Louisiana," and he said, "I would love." I didn't call him; he called me. He's very proactive.
He wasn't there for the Louisiana Purchase either. What is this motherfucker talking about?
He's a great guy. He's a deal guy. He's a deal maker type guy. And we need it for national protection. We need Greenland for national protection. They have a very small population. And I don't know, they say Denmark, but Denmark has spent no money. They have no military protection. If they say that Denmark was there 300 years ago or something with a boat, well, we were there with boats too, I'm sure.
No, actually, no. Depending on who you say is we, if you mean the United States, well, no, the United States, it was impossible for the United States to have a boat 300 years ago. And he's like, oh, Denmark doesn't have a military presence there. Well, yeah, like it's just like a protectorate essentially of theirs, like how we have fucking like Guam or whatever. It's just their territory. And Greenland is like mostly governs itself. Like Denmark isn't like ruling over fucking Greenland with an iron fist and putting a bunch of military shit there. And the people of Greenland probably very much prefer that to like whatever the fuck Trump has in mind. So we had mentioned the drug prices a minute ago. Here's Dr. Oz. He's going to explain the GOP healthcare plan for you. And we talked about this last week. They haven't like really changed course on this. It seems like they're sticking with this particular plan here, which I think is, I don't know, better than nothing, but barely.
Favorite nation drug pricing is about being fair to the American consumer. We pay on average 3 times more for the exact same drugs put in the same bottles in the same factories that same product sells for in Europe. President said, no mas, no more. It's got to all be fairly priced across the globe. And we've been pushing for most favored nation pricing, doing the unthinkable with bold action to ask pharmaceutical companies to agree to drop their prices in the United States.
We're taking, no. This is not. So the way this works is those countries are negotiating as one nation. That's how they get the lower price. They're like, well, we could just, they probably tell these drug companies, they're like, you know what, we'll just make it our fucking selves. You don't want to sell it to us at the price we want to pay? That's fucking good for you. We're just going to make it ourselves. And that's, even if they're not saying it, that's sort of like the unspoken thing that's happening in these negotiations. And that doesn't work here in the United States because all the patents, copyrights, and fucking trademarks and everything associated with the drug are here in the United States for a lot of these drugs. So whoopsie fucking poopsie. Up next, we got here's an infrastructure plan. I don't know if you know this, but this is Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, and he has an infrastructure plan for blue states.
But what I can do, Brian, is I can pull their money. That's the leverage that I do have. And as long as they don't comply, there's statutory rules by which I have to abide by. I have to give them, time to comply with our rules. But if they don't, I guarantee you that the federal taxpayer is not going to fund their roads and bridges and their systems.
California, we can fund our own, motherfucker. We send, motherfucker, California, New York, fucking Massachusetts. These states send fucking way more in taxation to the federal government than these states get back in like grants and services.
When they're putting illegals on the roads and endangering the lives of the American people. And you know this, if you get a driver's license in Colorado, New York, or California, you don't stay in those states. You actually travel across the country, so you endanger every single American.
Wait, why? You get a driver's license? What is it like? Do you just immediately go on a road trip as soon as you get a driver's license? What the fuck is this guy talking about?
by putting an unqualified driver behind the wheel.
Wait, why? No, how do you know they don't know how to drive? What is fucking immigrant when not know how to drive? Like, what the fuck? Has this guy seen the way Americans drive? This guy ever had somebody in a fucking BMW appear to be like fucking 3 inches behind the fucking rear bumper of their car? Like, what is this guy talking about?
They travel across all of the lower 48. Incredibly dangerous.
So what? That's the dumbest fucking thing. Immigrants don't know how to drive. Why? Why would you be any worse of a driver than anybody else? Nobody knows how to drive. I know this for a fact. I ride a fucking bicycle around. Friend, let me tell you, people are not paying attention, and I'm lucky to be alive. Up next, we got, I guess wind power is like a national security threat. I don't know. Something's going on here. Donald Trump doesn't like fucking windmills for some reason, and he's just trying any fucking thing he can to like not have windmills. But I mean, they're just windmills. It's a dumb thing. I don't know. I think he just like thinks oil and coal are like manly and wind power is for pussies or something. I don't know.
National security. I mean, I can understand people may not want to look at them and they may not be cost efficient, but what's the national security concern?
Well, Jason, great to be with you. The national security concerns, as delivered by recently completed classified reports from the Department of War, focus around radar and radar interference. It's hard to imagine the scale and size.
Yo, I don't know if you know this, but if there's a fucking windmill somewhere, that means your radar doesn't work.
These offshore projects, but we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of towers that are taller than the Washington Monument. The blade spans cover.
Homeboy, the Washington Monument isn't really that tall.
2.5 football fields. They're moving at 150 to 200 miles an hour. Our onshore radar that we have protecting our large metro areas along the East Coast, our military installations, they're designed to pick up movement. These projects, they create.
This is not. Oh, you have to be fucking kidding me. The radar is designed to pick up movements in the windmill. It just fucking confuses the radar. The radar is like, I don't know, that's either a windmill or the British are coming. Like,
radar shadows.
You got to be fucking kidding me.
So that we've with national security concerns are pausing these projects until we have an opportunity to see if there can be mitigation to cure these concerns.
Nobody believes that. Absolutely nobody. He doesn't believe that. He's fucking cheesing too much. That's one of those smiling faces tell lies kind of fucking smiling faces. The conspiracy theorists would refer to it as like duper's delight, right? Where you're like just delighted in the fact that you're going on fucking TV and just telling people some shit that is just so incredibly not true. And some percentage of those people are like highly motivated to at least pretend they believe you for their own ideological reasons. Here's this guy on Maria Bartiromo's show, I guess, talking more about radar and windmills.
What next action did you want to tell us about this morning?
Well, today we're sending notifications to the 5 large offshore wind projects that are under construction that their leases will be suspended due to national security concerns. During this time of suspension, we'll work with the companies to try to find a mitigation. But we've completed the work that President Trump has asked us to do. The Department of War has come back conclusively that the issues related to these large offshore wind programs create radar interference that creates a genuine risk for the U.S., particularly related to the where they are in proximity to our East Coast population centers.
Yo, just absolutely not, dude. I'm telling you that the people that work on that observe the radar are like highly trained people. Even if the equipment is maybe giving some kind of reading that doesn't make sense or whatever, if it's like trying to scan the surface of the ocean, people who fucking monitor those things are like, oh, there's windmills out there. That's probably why it's doing that. You know, if they're training, they're like, keep an eye out for a signal more like this, something moving, possibly. Like, oh, this thing seems to be a little blip on the radar and it's been there the whole time and it hasn't moved. It's like, sir, that's a windmill. Like, even if that shows up, I don't even know how this works, but this is just false. This just is like, this cannot be true. There's no way this can be true. Here we go. We got some talk about the economy with Peter Navarro, who we haven't run clips of on this show in a while. I kind of forgot he existed, but this is the economy, everybody.
And in an age of AI, where all the white collar jobs are going away pretty damn quick, I think maybe it's a good time for people to think about having good blue collar jobs. I mean, that used to be how America prospered. The middle class, the blue collar middle class, because they had good wages at the time back in the days when Detroit was king.
Yep.
That was a beautiful age. It can come back again in a new package with all this good technology and productivity. So
we're going to know a lot, Peter, and by the end of next year, and it's coming, we're going to know a lot about how this went. It wouldn't be the first time that the consensus or the the conventional wisdom.
Give tariffs a chance, because they're working.
All right. Thank you, Peter.
The thing is, the stuff that these people are like, the functional equivalent of blue collar jobs now are like in the service industry, right? It's like people that work in hospitality and whatnot. Those jobs replaced all of what these people are calling blue collar jobs. But believe you me, I don't want to give those people a fucking raise. I don't want to give those people a raise. Here's more from Peter Navarro. On the economy, which you should listen to Peter Navarro about, I guess.
So it's all good.
What you hear is it's a tax on, when it comes down to it, it's a tax on U.S. companies. And when you tax something, you get or you get less of it if you tax something. And why is that? How would you dispute that or deflect that?
These folks were sitting in their econ course and they were thinking about tax incidence with producers and consumers. As soon as you add that third party, the foreign countries that depend on our markets to sell, it becomes not a tax, but a form of leverage and a beautiful thing, because those countries, Joe, they want to be here. And so what their producers do is they reduce their prices and it filters through. And everything in the data tells us that's true. And I would maintain, this is why the Wall Street Journal piece is important, because I'm speaking directly to the people who make the counter argument most eloquently. And I mean the Wall Street folks, which you talk with every day. It's like, no. It's just, Occam's razor tells you exactly that I'm right on this.
Occam's razor is when a fucking ghoul from the White House is correct.
President Trump is right on this because of what we're observing. No inflation, investment coming in, and eventually after a construction boom, a bunch of factories.
Eventually after a construction boom, we're going to get the factories
all over the country. So read the piece, I would say to people. That's why I think it's important. I think it's a really good explanation of the issue that you're describing, Joe. And
so tariffs would only force a company in another country to lower their prices if they, one, really, first of all, they would have to really 100% be dependent on the American market. But two, there would have to be like a competing product that the tariff isn't applied to, right? Like, let's say, I don't know, if I bought a new TV, I would probably buy a Sony. I know Samsung maybe makes better TVs, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So the tariff on the Sony TV would be, might force Sony to lower their prices if there was a competing product that the tariff wasn't being applied to. But it just turns out that there's no competing product that the tariff isn't being applied to, because all the TVs come from they all come from the same fucking two countries, right? Like, so there's no competing product there. So that doesn't fucking work. That's not how this works. Your price just goes up. If the TV only comes from countries that are being tariffed, well, guess what? You just pay the tariffs, because the companies in the other countries aren't just out of the goodness of their own heart going to pay your fucking tariff for you. Like, why would they? There's no incentive for them to do that. And again, they don't have to compete. We're talking about not just consumer goods. We're talking about like the circuit boards that go into even stuff that's assembled in the United States. Where the fuck do you think the circuit boards come from? Those things are all tariffed. Well, circuit board, there ain't no fucking competing manufacturer of fucking circuit boards here in America that's going to be able to give you, I don't know, 150 or 200,000 of whatever circuit board and like, manufacture it in 2 weeks for you. There's just not. You probably got to go to fucking Foxconn for that. So everybody knows how that fucking Foxconn factory they thought they were going to build went. It didn't go good at all. It didn't build shit. Because they got here and they're like, nah. So none of the thing he's talking about only works if there are competing products that are not tariffed and are being produced at or about the same cost, like to produce them, such that it forces maybe another country to not, or a company in another country not to take a loss, but to significantly cut the profit margin on what they're doing. But like, I'm sorry, like there ain't a lot of shit that you buy. Like, want to buy a computer display? Well, that shit's made in China. There isn't one made in the United States. There just isn't. They ain't got them. Anybody remember Zenith? I think that was the last company that ever made TVs in America. Those things sucked. So anyway, here's Howard Lutnick, also going to give you a lesson on the economy, I guess. He's the Commerce Secretary.
Donald Trump's economy grew, the United States of America, the biggest economy in the world, 4.3%. What that means is that Americans overall, all of us, are going to earn 4.3% more money. We're making a raise. It's a simple way to do it. We've got more jobs, lower energy costs, and lower interest rates coming. This is the golden age coming. So
this is dumb. The economy growing 4.3% doesn't mean that you get a raise. That's hella stupid. What if it's just that there's 4.3% more people and everybody's like productivity dollars or whatever is the same? Or what if the economy grows 4.3% because all the rich people, actually for the rich people, they're all fucking, generating 10, 15, 20% more income. Well, now the average person, they got to fucking take the hit to make up for that. This is dumb. This is dumb. Like, this is like, nobody believes this. Like, you don't have to be a fucking economist. You don't even have to think about it to be like, that doesn't make any sense, right? It's like saying, like, if the building that I lived in somehow got 4.3% bigger, that necessarily my apartment would get 4.3% bigger instead of them just adding more apartments. What the fuck? But anyway, there are bad parts about the economy. And any of those, they're from actually the last guy. But any of the good parts, any of the parts that they're able to convince you are good, those are because of the current guy. That's how this works. Those are the rules. I don't make the fucking rules.
Go out and we talk to people, even Trump supporters, they're not feeling necessarily kind of what you're laying out there in terms of this rosy picture. And, President Trump has blamed the stressors on the economy on President Biden. But there's this recent Quinnipiac poll that found that 57% of Americans view President Trump as responsible for the current state of the economy versus 34%. And so whose economy is it? Because I hear, sometimes when numbers aren't so great or favorable, it's Biden's economy. And then when things are going great, like this GDP report, it's Trump's economy. Who owns it right now?
Right now, we're looking at data about today at 100%. The data, 4.3% GDP growth, is happening because of President Trump's policies. But President Biden's policies did things like reduce real incomes by $3,000. They made it so that the typical person buying a new home had to increase their mortgage payment at on an annual basis by $14,000 for the
Right, but then when you're paying more for your mortgage, like that increases the GDP. Like what the fuck? Like, you raise the price of everything and the fucking GDP goes up because the GDP is like a fucking fucking fake number that doesn't mean anything. You just raise the prices of everything 10%, and then to the extent that people can just buy everything at the new price, well, now the GDP just went up about 10%.
Home. And so that kind of stuff takes a while to repair. And if you look at the 4.3% GDP number, you can see that we're repairing it at record pace. I can remember being on CNN back in 2017 where I came out with President Trump and we said, we think we can get 3% GDP growth. And the story in the media back then was always, we're in the new normal. We couldn't possibly grow 3%. And now here we are at 4%. And when I talked to President Trump about the 4% growth, he said, I think we should shoot for 20. But it was a joke. But
I guess
if we get 20, we'll all be really happy.
All right, Kevin Hassett, thank you very much. Happy holidays to you.
Yeah, but the president's saying to shoot for 20. He's probably just telling you to cook the books. Like, I don't know, man. The GDP going up 20% would probably be a catastrophe for like regular people, right? A number go up isn't necessarily always good. Like, what? Again, everything, they just raise the price of everything by like 22 or 23% or whatever. And now the fucking more money's floating around and more transactions are happening. And like, okay, now fucking everything's more and more money's floating around, and boom, you've just raised the GDP, but like you haven't really done anything except made everything more expensive. Up next, this is a little bit weird. AI could cause, like the AI bubble or whatever, could cause a global market crash, but actually that would be good, I guess. It leads me to believe there's some indicators maybe going on here that we're not aware of, that other people are. Maybe the crash that Ed Zitron keeps talking about is fucking looming larger than we know.
The fourth industrial revolution has come in like a tidal wave. We're talking artificial intelligence, robots, big data, the list goes on. And it's changing the way we work and create opportunity. This despite doom and gloom predictions. I'm going to pick up on this with what we talked about last time, the investments and too much and too big. The second industrial revolution, where America superseded everyone in the world from the very bottom, was driven by railroad investing. Guess what that gave us? 4 crashes, 4 panics the size of the Great Depression, and it was worth it. It was worth it to supersede the rest of the world, and that's the risk we're taking right now, to stay in control, to be on top, because we must.
No, it was worth it because we got a railroad. We got railroads.
In this AI race.
Bring it.
Right? It's like, yeah, it was worth it because, friend, we got railroads. I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know if there's a big crash looming or whatever, but this is this guy suggesting that it would be good or whatever is kind of weird, because in this case, like if this whole thing comes crashing down, and like also, like, I'm not sure that the crashes were necessarily related to too much investment in the fucking railroads. In fact, I don't think they were, but if this all comes crashing down, all you have is a bunch of fucking GPUs that fucking nobody wants anymore. Nvidia, all the Nvidia stock goes away, and that's like 7 or 8% of the fucking stock market. So like a bunch of teachers' pension funds get all fucked up. It's really the same thing as like having a boom and bust economy basically after having laid railroad tracks. I don't think these are the same thing. In fact, I know these aren't the same thing. So that seems stupid. It seems real dumb. Anyway, here's a cosplay Christy Gnome saying she's going to give you $3,000 and a plane ticket if you are here, as she would say, illegally, and you want to leave. So I wonder if there's anybody scamming this.
Meanwhile, your department has a big announcement today, because some folks have decided, you know what, they don't want to go through the immigration process anymore. They're in the country illegally, and they're going to self-deport. And you're announcing a new incentive. What is that announcement, Madam Secretary?
Well, it's home for the holidays season, so not only are we returning those kiddos back to their families that Biden lost, we also are saying that if you voluntarily want to go home now to your country, if you're in this United States of America illegally, we will give you $3,000 through the holidays to send you home. We'll buy you a ticket, give you $3,000 to go home, and that includes people that have not been detained, maybe have interacted with us, are detained and don't have criminal charges against them. Yeah, raise your hand. We'll help you get home. We'll facilitate it, and you might get the chance to come back to this country the right way someday. If you wait until we interdict you and detain you and arrest you and have to deport you ourselves, you'll never get the chance to come back. So go on the CBP Home app and get the information, and we'll make sure you get home in time for Christmas.
All right, let's see.
So that's crazy, because she's like, if you're going through the process and going to court and all that stuff to take care of this, well, that is sort of the right way. There's a process there. You're going through the process. She just said that. Like, this is contradictory, but nobody should be surprised by this. I don't know. I wonder if anybody's fucking scamming this. I hope so. Fuck it. I hope somebody is scamming this. So I don't know if you know this, but the storm that the QAnon people apparently were talking about is coming. They found 127,000 trafficked children, which I don't know. Probably not.
Individuals in Lawrence, I don't know if you've heard But the best thing for this holiday season is that we have found over 127,000 children that the Biden administration lost. 127,000 of the almost 500,000 children that Biden facilitated.
Well, okay, so 127,000 is not almost 500,000. It's more, it's closer to 500,000 than, for example, 127. But when you say almost 500,000, I think you got to be like above 400,000. I'm not a fucking numerologist, but
coming into this country and getting trafficked. We're finding them and we're returning them back to their families and bringing them to safety.
That is huge news for those families that I'm sure are crushed by the amount of years that they didn't see their loved ones. I
don't know if this is true. I think this is false. I think all this is false. I don't think this is true. So, here's some more statistics. This is James Comer has some statistics about the Somali community in Minnesota that I think might not be correct for whatever reason.
Because they don't want to offend that population. And the early numbers that I'm getting in on the Somalis in Minnesota is 75% of the Somalis in Minnesota are on full government assistance. That's full welfare. The whole reason that the Democrats left the border open during the Biden administration was to allow people to come in and what they said would provide jobs, because there's a shortage of workers. And I agree there's a shortage of workers, but you got a massive population in that one state, and the overwhelming majority of that population's on Medicaid, and then and other types of government programs. Even when Democrats say there are no illegals on Medicaid, I think that's going to be proven to be false.
Look in Minnesota, right. Yeah. Chairman.
So okay. So 70. What do you mean Somali immigrants? First of all, okay. So not everyone who is here who was once in Somalia is here without papers. In fact, I think a lot of people are here legally. Right? There's a lot of legal immigrants here in the United States. But this guy doesn't really want to draw those kinds of distinctions, right? If you used to live in Somalia and you're here in America, this guy thinks you're an illegal, as he would say. And I'm not buying this fucking 75% number. I'm just not buying it. That's very high. It's very high. Also, he said Medicaid. That's different. There's a lot of fucking people on Medicaid. It includes people with disabilities, children whose parents have died, that kind of stuff. So it's not necessarily just the people these people think is on Medicaid. So up next, we got Matt Gaetz on the Tucker Carlson show talking about, for some reason, after January 6th, AOC used to kind of, be a little more friendly to the Republicans in Congress. And after J6, she wasn't. I don't know why that could be.
AOC, same thing. Yeah, AOC is a very different person today than when she got to Congress. Totally in terms of corrupted. Co-opted
completely. Oh, the Gaza war is fine. It's like, what?
When we were ousting McCarthy, she came up to me and was like, I really respect this because I'll be honest, we don't have the guts to do this on our side.
What's she like?
Before January 6th, she was incredibly chummy with Republicans in Congress, would regularly come over to our side, sit down, hang out, talk about her day.
Did you ever date her?
I did not, no.
Did you try?
No. And not my cup of tea, but she, after January 6th, treated us all like, we had horns or something.
So she gave this kind of famous statement after January 6th and said, as a trauma survivor, I was traumatized. I was almost killed that day. Do you think, was that real?
No, but it is reflective of the performance art of Congress. And it was just bad performance art.
But how could you get points from anyone for being like, yeah, I'm a terrified little girl?
Because
what? I find that I'm a terrified little girl.
Anything if you're a terrified.
Oh, do you think the other people in Congress? They think that they're trying to retcon this, right? They're trying to act like the men who were there, the Republican men who were there, were like, oh, bring them on, we'll kill them all. No, they fucking ran too. I'd run. Fucking stop that. Look, they're trying to fucking rewrite the history on this. Get the whole fuck out of here. You can see fucking statements from very conservative members of the Congress right after it happened who were visibly shook. What the fuck are they talking about?
Little girl, sorry.
Yeah, but we are a society that is increasingly built on grievance identity. you are the grievance that you can act.
People were wandering the halls. People were literally wandering the halls of Congress, like searching for specific Democratic politicians. I feel like you could feel aggrieved by that, right? I feel like that's not an unreasonable thing to feel aggrieved about. I feel like maybe it was a little unfair to you. So, up next, we got Morning Joe. Even Morning Joe is not happy about how Barry Weiss handled that CCOT story. And by handled it, I mean just pulled it because the president didn't like it.
Her decision to pull a 60 Minutes report on the Trump administration's use of the notorious CCOT prison in El Salvador. In a call with staffers yesterday, Weiss said she decided not to air the story because it, quote, was not ready. Weiss said in part, the public knows that Venezuelans have been subjected to horrific treatment at this prison. To run a story on this subject 2 months later, we need to do more. This is 60 Minutes, she said. We need to be able to get the principles on the record and on camera. Our viewers come first, not the listing schedule or anything else. That is my North Star, and I hope it's yours too, Barry Weiss said to the staff. Weiss has faced backlash for her choice to abruptly pull the piece over the weekend, despite it already clearing legal and standards hurdles and CBS News already promoting it. CBS News has said the segment will air after additional reporting is done. 60 Minutes executive producer Tanya Simon told staff yesterday she stands by the story and that Weiss, quote, had a different vision. She said she had no choice but to comply. However, the network that airs the show in Canada ran the original version of the program and subsequently released it online, where it quickly has gone viral across a variety of platforms.
You know, Willie, your dad worked at CBS. I know a lot of people worked at CBS and are really upset. Mika worked at CBS. A lot of people really upset by this decision. I saw the original piece last night. It's one thing to read about it in the New York Times. It's one thing to read, like if ProPublica or somebody else is doing documents. It's another to do what 60 Minutes did, an interview, like for instance, a young man that came to the United States, tried to do things the right way, got thrown on that plane, got sent down, explains the torture that he and others went through. And, you know, here's a guy that didn't even have a traffic violation. And it was extraordinarily moving. And this argument that somehow, let's get perspective on the 8 people that did commit violent crime. I'm sorry. The burden is on the Trump administration that said we're all sending, Carolyn Levitt said, we're all sending the worst of the worst rapists, murderers, all the horrible things she did. You know, sad they did out of like 250 or so. It ends up being only 8. At that point, I'm sorry, the burden is not on the newscaster to talk about the 8 that they got right out of 250. The burden is then on the administration to say, how did you screw up so badly? How did you lie so badly? And let me ask you this. Would Mike Wallace say, oh, Nixon wouldn't talk to me, so we're just going to scrap a 60 Minutes report. Haldeman wouldn't talk to me, so we're not going to do that story on Watergate. John Mitchell, oh, he refused to return my call, so we're not. Mike Wallace is like, I can't do that. I can't. Oh, come on. This is the most ridiculous thing, and conservatives have always complained, and I think a certain person that used to write at the New York Times complained that whenever liberal editors wanted to scrap a conservative op-ed, they would scrub every single line. And that's exactly what happened here, except now, of course, the shoe once again on the other foot.
And of course, 60 Minutes again and again and again approached this administration for comment. They would have loved to have all these people sit in the chair, be on camera, and answer these questions. But as they say in the report, the administration declined. I know you guys talked about this yesterday, but it can't be said enough that particularly 60 Minutes, but all news organizations running a piece like this, whether it's television or print, they're not hoops. It's just a gauntlet of weeks of lawyers and standards and reporters and editors and producers and then the executive
and
producer.
Willie, nobody is tougher
as Mika saw herself.
Yes.
And Mika's always told me people would run out. Fager, I love him, man. And all the other guys, Don Hewitt before that, reporters would run out in tears, men, because it's such a brutal process to get your program, your package on 60 Minutes.
Especially with a story like this, especially with legal concerns, especially with this administration, you don't want to get a single word wrong. You don't want to expose yourself in any way, and you want to get the story right. That's what 60 Minutes does, and they did it again.
So this is crazy too. It aired like in other countries, like it had already been sent out. Like, so it aired in Canada. That's like how it got, like that's like one of the ways that it got leaked. But Barry Weiss just pulled it because she's Barry Weiss. And like, nobody should believe a fucking word Barry Weiss says. She fucking straight up lied about why she left the New York Times. We ran a couple stories about that. The outgoing CEO of the New York Times went on Peter Kafka's show. And, she had claimed that she was subject to anti-Semitic harassment in the fucking Slack at New York Times. And the outgoing CEO, who I don't think has a whole lot of incentive to lie, said that they looked throughout the entire, her history on Slack and found no instances of harassment happening to her, anti-Semitic or otherwise. The lady, she's just terrible. She's like a liar, like a bad person. And she's exactly who the Trump administration wants, deciding what is and is not going to be aired on 60 Minutes, because she's always going to side with them, because that's who she is. That's it. She has like a long history of going after professors and other news people in the news who would be critical of Israel and supportive of Palestinian people and stuff. Her history it's on full display for everybody. It's not like anybody doesn't know, or anybody who's interested in looking into it can't figure out who and what Barry Weiss is. She just was able to make believe that she was like a free speech warrior when everybody was freaking out about cancel culture. And, shout out, my take is when she quit the New York Times, I think she quit the New York Times because people on Twitter were making fun of her. So shout out to the people on Twitter that were making fun of her. So we're done with the normal-ish part of the docket here. I have this interesting video. If this is a joke, that's pretty cool. And regardless, I kind of want whatever this is. Look at this.
3, 2, 1. Let's see how it comes out.
I want that little fucking breathing Jesus doll. I don't know. Do you want the breathing Jesus doll? I certainly want one. We got a couple more stories here. We got Rob Schneider. He's going to talk about the bias in Hollywood. Oh man. This guy acting like he didn't just get jobs because Adam Sandler felt sorry for him over and over again.
You're either with the Liberal Party and you you take a Mark Ruffalo, he could say whatever he wants against Trump and he'll still get work as an actor. But if an actor like me, or says anything or even questions or dares question the tribe of Democrats, that's it. You're out. You're out of Hollywood.
Did you know that before you opened your big mouth?
Well, not to this extent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when Hillary Clinton lost the election and I tweeted, I haven't seen the Democrats this angry since we freed the slaves. That
what
was
that's not even a good joke.
Something that went pew everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they didn't like that. I remember my old.
So this is a lie. This guy was already posting just a fucking fire hose of anti-vaccine bullshit for a very long time, well before COVID.
Also, Saturday Night Live's Lorne Michaels would say that the Democrats are more sensitive and they don't have quite the sense of humor to to laugh at themselves as Republicans. And I think he was right.
I don't know if he said that, but this guy's lying. Also, that joke is stupid because anyway, people understand history. But that he's lying. He's lying. He was like persona non grata in Hollywood when he just became a fucking anti-vaccine freak. I don't know for sure, but I want to say that I think that's the reason Adam Sandler stopped hiring him. And not for nothing, there's conservatives in Hollywood that get work. I'm just thinking, like, off the top of my head, Kelsey Grammer. He's a conservative. Every time he wanted to do a show or whatever, his projects all got greenlit. And I think it's just because he's not crazy. I don't agree with Kelsey Grammer's politics or whatever, but he's a good actor. He's not crazy. I know there are others. I'm not like big into like celebrities or whatever, so I don't know who else out there. But Tim Allen, he's not like as popular as Kelsey Grammer or whatever, but that motherfucker, the Tool Time guy, always has a job if he wants one. He doesn't fucking go around pissing people off. People don't hate him. So I think it's just this dude. It's this guy's personality. He probably doesn't treat people very well. It's embarrassing to be associated with him, which is different than I don't agree with your politics. So speaking of vaccines, here's Joe Rogan going to lie. Here's Joe Rogan going to lie about measles. He's 10 years older than me. I didn't know that. I thought he was maybe closer to my age. He's 10 years older than me. So here, so he's like 58. So consider that when you're thinking about what he says here.
Measles included, speaking of the current thing,
which is
a controversy.
An infection that everyone got when I was a kid. And what happened was you'd get sick for a few days and then you'd be immune for life.
Yep.
Yeah. And they were making it look like everyone's dying from measles. Like, no, if you're dying from measles, you're sick. You're already compromised, which is exactly what happened with COVID, where 90% of the people who died had 4+ comorbidities.
Yep.
Like, Jesus Christ.
Which is why it was such a red pill for me, because I was like literally an ultra marathon runner that was going to the gym like 3 hours a day. I'm like, I need natural immunity. I already have natural immunity. Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
So first of all, I think Joe Rogan totally confused chickenpox and the measles. Everybody got chickenpox when I was younger, and Joe's not that much older than me. There's a vaccine for chickenpox now, which you should get even if you've had chickenpox, because it has a preventative effect of you getting shingles when you get older. But then he said that even if he was talking about chickenpox, it didn't make you immune from it, because the same virus that causes chickenpox later in your life causes shingles, which is like not good. So he's just wrong all the way across. Measles before we had a vaccine for measles, it killed a lot of fucking people. It wasn't something where you just got sick for a couple days. And the measles, I don't know when the measles vaccine came out, but it came out at such a time that Joe Rogan got it. So he's just wrong. He's wrong like on 2 counts here. So we got one more thing. Here's this is Alex Jones. We have more Alex in red light, but here's Alex Jones talking to the former CEO of Overstock.com, who's a maniac in his own right, about how he is, I guess Alex is advising JD Vance on his fucking 2028 presidential campaign.
Be saying this, I wouldn't be getting you down if I couldn't also say, I've got pretty good authorities in multiple places that the fog has lifted. Any remaining doubts about who's who and what's what?
Let's stop there. I'm going to stop. I'm going to put this the first interview, because I see the same thing. I'm not going to get into details, but let's just say, well, the bad guys already know this, but I'm literally giving the White House advice, and I see almost all of it put into speeches and action. They're really listening to us right now. The vice president's listening very, very closely. I'll stop right there. But they have finally got it. Elaborate. Start over. You're saying in your own words, fog is lifted. Go ahead.
I've been in a situation where you're in command of something, and there are people within your team that's like a team within the team. There's a team within your team, and you're not getting the straight story, or you're getting multiple stories, and there's multiple people you trust giving you conflicting stories. And it is really hard to sort out. They're gaslighting, and it can be quite foggy to work.
So gaslighting isn't just when people who are on a project with you disagree with each other.
But my understanding is Trump has reached the point where there's no more miss for him. He understands the gravity. He understands what has happened. He understands.
And he knows who's told him the truth over and over and over again.
Yeah. He knows, I feel this all could have been done by February 1st or February 15th, 14th, Valentine's Day. But it took there was a lot of bureaucracy. And Trump ordered the right things. He signed the right things all along. The bureaucracy fights him. The deep state, he signed it took like April till they interviewed the key whistleblowers, there's over a dozen. And a lot of feds involved in this. But it took and Trump signed the right thing to start a special task force. The deep state by June, July, not a person had been moved, not a dollar has been shifted.
Well, Todd Blanche sits on the task force.
Todd Blanche.
He blocks it.
That's how they do it. They fight from within so his orders don't get implemented. He's like moving through a swamp. It's like wading through a swamp up to your chest. You really can't run. You can't sprint.
So that guy was talking about his time as the CEO of Overstock.com, and that guy is fucking crazy. So if you're like upper management at Overstock.com, you might lie to that guy because he's fucking crazy, and you might want to, I don't know, be able to keep your job or have the people under you be able to keep their jobs. So you lie to the crazy motherfucker that runs the company. I think that's what he's talking about. But also, these people just say things like they're gaslighting you. They're gaslighting you. Gaslighting somebody is essentially like lying to them or misrepresenting the facts in order to make them think that their perception of the world is wrong and that they're crazy, essentially. So people do this to each other all the time. Like cults will do this to you. Abusive spouses will do this to you. But like the people that are like in the C-suite, if two of them don't agree about what you're supposed to do with your business, it's highly likely that neither of these people are gaslighting you and they just don't agree with each other. So that's that. Anyway, that's the end of the podcast. We're just barely over an hour, but it was a slow news week. If you're watching live, don't go anywhere. We're going to go on a red light. If you're listening to the pod, I usually say if you made it all the way to the end, but this one wasn't super long. If you want the rest of the show, maybe come check the show out live sometime on a Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/Echoplex Media, or you can patreon.com/Echoplex or eplex.store, $5 a month or higher, and you get the whole show, including red light, in your inbox, I'd say Monday afternoon Pacific time. With that, this is Boomers by Periscope. I am going to pour myself a cocktail and change the color of the lights in the room, and I'll be back in a few minutes.